Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your leadership, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here, and I deeply appreciate the opportunity. My name is Nirain. I represent Panera Bread. Panera has 2,500 cafes, revenues of about $6 billion, and we employ 140,000 people. The pandemic impacted us very deeply, as it did everybody else. We lost close to 50% of our revenue in the first week. Since then, it is slowly coming back, but we still have a long way to go. Now, the health crisis...
You got down by 50% or more than that?
50 to 60% was the revenue decline.
That's not bad.
And I think what's good is that it's actually coming back since that time.
Good.
Thanks to a lot of the innovation that we've been able to do.
Good. But so you got maximum, though, 50% of revenue loss.
Yeah.
How'd you keep the other 50%?
So the 50% that we have by ensuring, so fortunately, I think in Panera, we have very strong omni-channel business.
Right.
So we have delivery, rapid pickup, drive-through,
You did very well.
and so on.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great job. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think we've had to innovate very quickly, and I'll share some of those ideas. So I believe that the health crisis is now becoming a financial crisis, with 36 million Americans unemployed, and a humanitarian crisis as well, with about 54 million Americans fighting hunger. And therefore, I think opening up the economy right now in a phased manner is the right thing to do. I also believe that we, as leaders, need to also step up and do the right thing at this time, and do what we can do, what's in our control. And I'll share some ideas and thoughts in terms of what Panera has been doing, largely with the intent to innovate and do that with compassion and heart. So for our furloughed employees, we have free family meals every week for them, emergency relief funds, and also we've made arrangements with peer companies that are actually hiring at this time, like CVS, Walmart, to hire our furloughed employees temporarily and then return them back. For customers, we've innovated very quickly. We've launched the curbside pickup service with geofencing and also free Wi-Fi outside the cafes because life is moving to outside the cafes. And also doing a lot for our communities, especially those impacted most by the pandemic. So doctors and nurses, we're serving about 50,000 meals to doctors and nurses in New York, children in the state of Ohio with our partnership with USDA. And also we've launched a program called Together Without Hunger with Feeding America, and have pledged to serve 500,000 meals to children and families through Feeding America.
Great.
So I think it's very important at this time that I think we need to also step up and contribute. We were able to keep 85% of our cafes open. We were determined to keep them open so that we could keep our associates employed at that time, and therefore now we're beginning to open up the dining areas in phases, following all the guidelines, but also have stringent protocols that we've put in place, like plexiglass barriers, wellness stations for temperature checks, social distancing norms, etc.
Will you be keeping any of that? I mean, there are some innovations that have been made. Some people say maybe we'll keep it. Would you be keeping any of that or not really?
Yes, I think there's going to be a shift in how the consumers are going to interact with brands, and I think it is time for us to innovate. So another example is...
Would you ever keep the plexiglass barriers?
So I think we'll keep the plexiglass barriers.
I mean, on a permanent basis, I'm talking about.
I think at least over the next 6 to 9 months.
Right, but could you see that being permanent? Because hopefully you're not going to have it that long, by the way, 9 months. But would you see a thing like that? You'd have to build a nicer version of it, as opposed to quickly throwing it up. But would you see something like that being permanent, possibly?
I think hopefully if the virus is under control and we've gotten to the other side of it, I think then we can get back to life as we once knew.
You'd rather not have it?
We'd rather move back to life as we once knew it. I'd rather not have
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Exactly.
Okay.
And another, I think, interesting innovation is that recognizing that there's so much high friction with high-demand grocery items where you can't get them home delivered, we launched a new line of business called Panera Grocery in 10 days, and we're delivering, bakery items, fresh produce, dairy to customers in less than an hour on the same day. So I think the good thing is it's forced us to really innovate and be very responsive.
Good.
I think the restaurant industry is deeply, deeply appreciative of all the support and the efforts that you and the administration have made. I think the CARES Act has been hugely welcomed. I would like to in particular thank you for the PPP program because it's made a huge difference to our franchise partners and our associates. I think with a few of the amendments that we talked about, I'd fully agree with the 8 weeks to 24 weeks. I think that is badly needed. I think that will be hugely welcomed. And
Steve, does that make sense from our standpoint? What do you think?
We're working on a technical fix that we do have bipartisan support for to extend it. I'm not sure it's that long, but I've spoken to the SBA committee, and there is bipartisan support, so we're working on that.
And I think we talked about the limited liability. I think that's also a very important aspect. And thirdly,
The Democrats don't want to give you the liability provision. They just don't want to have that. And it's crazy that they don't. But the Democrats do not want to give that to people, and that's not a good thing.
and I think the third
But
thing
we'll
is,
get
I
it
think
anyway. Go ahead.
our employees are, I think if we can eliminate the friction in the furloughed employees being able to access their unemployment benefits, that'll also be fantastic.
And that the problem there is the states have old equipment in many cases, and they're unable to get the money. You know, we gave the money out immediately, but the states are unable. Some states are unable to give it out. They have 40-year-old equipment, and some states are unable to get their act together. But we gave that out long ago, as you probably know.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Brooke, would you like to say a few words?